Hi guys. Um, are we live? Hi everyone. This is telling me we are live. Hi, so I'm Katarina from Create with Katarina, and I'm here to talk about my cards that I did for my presentation. This is the season to sparkle. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. So I can't see any. Oh, crafting with Good Lady. Hi, Monica. My computer isn't typing right, but how did you get started? Or how did I get started with crafting? You mean I started crafting in about 2017 when I was at home on maternity leave with my kids, and I just watched a few YouTube videos. Everyone was doing some amazing tutorials, and I thought that could try something like that. I did try a few different things. I did start with paper quilling and then quickly transitioned into paper crafting and making cards. Yeah. So yeah, it was a lovely journey. How would you describe your design style? Oh, my design style is big, large cards, floral, lots of glitter, lots of sparkle, and lots of shine. I think some of my friends, crafty friends, actually call me the glitter queen. I didn't name myself that, but they did. I love anything shiny, little magpie. Mm. What's your favorite technique at the moment? At the moment, I want to say it's heat embossing and adding glitter to my projects, making them lovely and shine. Um, I do enjoy stenciling a lot lately. I'm quite new to stenciling, and I love creating some fun textures for the backgrounds, and not only in the backgrounds, but even for my focal images with some stenciling. Yeah, you can see on this card, heat embossing I will use in a lot of different ways. I think heat embossing is one of those techniques that does stay with you once you try it. It gives so much texture and so much sparkle and so many different opportunities to use it in different ways. I loved your card. Thank you. I was not able to open your file. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not sure why that is. I did try and it opened for me. If you would like to send me an email, I have no issues. Absolutely email it over to you. So it's createwithkatarina@gmail.com. I am absolutely no idea why that would be because it did open for me on my laptop. Do you make holiday cards early or late? Yeah, I always plan to make my holiday cards very early and then I leave it always very late. This year's a bit different. We have just done, we've just done a collaboration for 12 days of Christmas in July, which really helped me get going. I have quite a few projects on the go already. So yeah, hopefully I will be late this year for a wee change. Is there something on your wish list you want to purchase soon? Oh, yeah, I will probably very soon need a new laptop. That's one thing. But what I would like in crafty terms, I think the magnetic glass mat. I would absolutely love that. I do have a glass mat from Tonic Studios, the black one, but I would really love this to be magnetic. So that's something on my very soon wish list. So hopefully I will have it in my craft room sooner rather than later. I do love the magnetic mat. I bring it out a lot for stenciling and especially if I'm using texture based. I love to use the magnetic sheet. So hopefully soon I'll be able to get the glass one with the magnetic feature. My favorite color combo, it changes a lot. Right now, it is the coral with the greens, just like I did on my card. But coming into the Christmas season, I like to use non-traditional colors. That we just did. For example, like this here, you can see all purples with the darker color in there. I love this type of color or pinks. I love pinks for Christmas too. I think that's beautiful. So it really changes a lot, but coming into the Christmas season, anything that's not too traditional, I love using. Is there one technique you prefer over any other? Yeah, as I mentioned earlier on heat embossing or adding glitter using dry clear glue to add glitter to any project, I do love to add texture that way to my projects or embellishments. Marker, water or alcohol based, and why? For me, it is water based markers. I just find them easier to use. I do use alcohol markers a lot too, especially when I'm working on commissions for designs. Sometimes I need to change up what I'm using on each project. But if I am to choose, I do like to use watercolor markers. I find them easier to blend. I just find them easier and I get nicer results with it. Mm. What's your advice for keeping glitter where it belongs and not everywhere? Okay. I don't have an advice for that. I have glitter literally everywhere. I remember going to work one day and my colleague asked me, "Are you okay, Katarina?" I said, "Yeah, why?" "Oh, you're not covered in glitter this morning." So my glitter is literally everywhere. I find it very hard to contain. It goes everywhere, especially if you sneeze. Don't sneeze. Mm. Where do you look for inspiration? Just anywhere and everywhere. Last year we were walking on a high street with my daughter and I saw windows decorated for Christmas and I took inspiration from that. I really love Pinterest. I do like to go to Pinterest and sometimes Pinterest even knows me what I like because it would send me messages. "Ah, Catherine, I think you would like this," and I really do. So I look for inspiration literally anywhere, especially for color combinations. Nature is amazing for inspiration in that. That's where the coral with the green came. I saw a lovely garden not that long ago where it was covered in these pinkish corals and oranges colors, and I just really love that. So I think that's what stuck with me for my color choices for now. How many cards do you usually make in a week? Oh, I make at least five, I want to say, but it could be more too because I'm on a design team for practical publishing. I would be making most weeks some cards for the magazines, and there's at least 3 or 5 cards to make. And then on top of that, whatever I'm making myself for video tutorials and for my friends and family to give. Is Christmas your favorite holiday to craft? Oh, absolutely. Christmas is my all-time favorite one to craft for. I can go over the top even more so than I usually do with the sparkle, the glitter, the flowers, which is my absolute favorite thing to do. Yeah, I know I like to craft outside of the box for Christmas, so I would have made yellows and oranges and things for Christmas before. So I really like to get out of my comfort zone then, yeah. Mm. What do you do when you've lost your Oh, so one thing would be to clean a bit in my craft room because I'm not a tidy crafter at all. I usually have everything lying everywhere. So tidying up my craft room a little bit helps. And second, sit down and make some flowers. I do have a box in one of my drawers tucked away in here where I would be gathering up flowers that I made. So if I have to make a card quickly, I can just reach into that box. So making flowers of all different types and sizes, that's what I like to do to get my mojo back a bit. And it really gets me inspired and gets me going. Then usually I end up making a card or two as well. Gems or sequins? Gems, definitely gems. A sequence I would use for shaker elements, making shaker cards, but it is definitely gems, sparkly gems, shiny gems. I love to add to my cards. More often than not, I would add them in the middle of the flowers. I would add them in the corners of my cards just to fill out spaces. I really love using gems. I have quite a few boxes of them in my stash, and they are always at handy reach. They are just here in front of me. So yeah, I do use them almost on all of my cards. Do you do any other crafts? Um, Not to an extent as I'm doing paper crafting, but I do like to make my homemade gifts for family and friends, like homemade T-shirts. I would heat press them with vinyl or HTV. I would make personalized mugs. Made a couple last week. We were visiting friends. Yeah, so stuff like that I like to do. But I wouldn't really have too much time for any other crafts. I have two small kids in the house, so life is quite busy just for now. I do spend a little bit of time out in the garden when I can in Ireland. It's not a big time spender though outside in the rain all the time. But yeah, paper crafting is my main craft, what I enjoy the most. Can you show us some more of the flowers you have made? Of the flowers, I can show you some on the cards that I have in here. So this one was, I don't know if you can see that. It's putting on my screen. I hope you can see this clearly. So you can see quite clearly the dimensional. This is thermal paper. And I use some distress oxide, no, just distress inks, sorry, to add some color to those, which was very interesting. Or there's another Christmas card that I created. And this one was again on violet and card. I added some ink to them. So these are all princesses, just all different ways. Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do love creating flowers. And to make Christmases, sometimes I don't even use poinsettia flower stamps and dies, just any stamps and dies to create my Christmas flowers. So yeah, I just love experimenting with them a lot. I do have a lot of YouTube tutorials on flowers. So if you would like to pop over to my channel after you finish this live, I would love to have you there. It's Create with Katarina. Do you save your scraps and find inspiration for them? I do save my scraps and then I'm overloaded with them. I never kind of reach into them. So then I end up giving them to my kids or give them to work. I work in a preschool, so I have taken lots of special pattern papers to use up in there because I just tend to overload my scrap drawer. So I guess inspiration probably no, unless it is to make flowers again. Sometimes when I sit down because I lose my mojo, I would make some of my flowers from that box. So yeah, that helps. Best craft and organization tip. Okay, not the best one to ask about organizing, but what is my favorite? I don't know if you can see here behind me. This is my glitter box, and I have them in like. I'll try to pull it out. Like a nail polish holder is same tiered. They go up, and I have my embossing powders in the same. So I think that helps them keep organized, and I can see what colors I have. Where I used to have them just in boxes, and then they were on top of each other, and some of them just got lost there because I could never see them out of sight, out of mind kind of way. So I really love these, having these for smaller. If someone is just getting started with Carmen, what's your advice? Okay, so just do what you enjoy. I remember when I first started and I bought so many things like panic buying because I saw other people using them on their videos and I wanted to copy them and I wanted to make them, and some of them were just too frustrating. It was overwhelming. I had so much stash then. I want to say that box kits, like for example, magazine box kits, they are quite inexpensive to buy and you get so much in them to get you started them because it's all coordinated. You can use them, and the magazines themselves come with so many advices and so many lovely projects shares, and they would show step-by-step tutorials to it would really get you started and would teach you some lovely techniques as well along the way. Okay, is there any more questions? Okay. Is there a technique you're afraid to try? It is the gel plate. I was just talking to Ardith there before I came live. I've had mine for 2 years, almost 2 years, and I've just pulled it out of the drawer to try to give it a go. But so many times I have pulled it out of the drawer and then I went back in the drawer with it because I just never plucked up the courage to try it. But Artist video was really, really inspirational. So I definitely am going to give it a go in the very near future. Maybe create some lovely flowers with them too. Yeah, so gel printing is something that I would say I'm afraid to try. But then again, heat embossing, I love it so much. I do it all the time. And I remember the very first time when I got my first kit for my birthday from my husband, it just sat on my desk for over a year because I was just too afraid to try it, and now I can't stop doing it. So yeah, have you made something with your freebie to show us? Okay, so I have a couple of cards here, um, which I can show you. This is a tutorial for the VIP holders related to these two cards. So you can see this is really how you can get two for the one. But from next week on, I will be sharing tutorials on my YouTube channel using that kit. So tune in there and I will be able to show you a lot more other ways of using the kit. I have used it a lot, but I gave those cards away. How do you like to add color to your flowers? Oh, all different ways. I love inking. I love cutting them out of colored paper and then just adding some glitter for some texture. I love using my distress subsidings. I have quite a few of them, almost the whole collection. Not quite, almost there. I like to use watercoloring, just any way really. I love doing ink smooshing and then cut out flowers from the ink smooshed paper. That is really nice too because it adds some lovely interest and lovely texture. And sometimes I do even use my alcohol markers to color my flowers. So what is your favorite type of cardstock for your flowers? Okay, so my favorite type is it's the one that I showed in the video to create these poinsettias, and it is 150 GSM paper, which has so the underside would be a lighter shade of exact same color as that there. And it is from Chloe's Creative Cards, and I've had quite a few packs of those. But other than that, I love using pearlescent paper because it gives some rather interest and shine, especially if you color over the pearlescent paper. It's just something really, really special. The pearlescent paper I would be getting from eBay or Amazon only, and it's 120 GSM, so they are not too heavyweight cardstock, so it's very easy to add some lovely shape to the flowers to make them nice and dimensional. Yeah, and other thing, vellum. To add vellum to your flowers, there's another way card. I don't think I showed you this one. This is a little camera shape one. You use vellum or acetate on top layer of the flowers. That is definitely my favorite thing to do to add to them because it really brings them all off to the next level again. Okay. Oh, it's time to wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining. It's been a pleasure to be in this summit. I really enjoyed it. This was my first one ever, and I really enjoyed being part of this. So thank you for everyone who tuned in, and a huge thank you to the organizers. So I really hope to see you over on my socials. It's great with Katarina, and I have lots more to share in there. So see you there. Bye.